Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tunnel Vision. My name is Adam. I will be your host today on this fine evening. It's fine Sunday evening. Solo podcast today. Super exciting. It's been a while since I've been able to air all of my thoughts out at you. So I know all of you enjoy that very, very much. At least I hope, or else you probably wouldn't be here. So thanks for coming to my hour rant session, basically. Very exciting stuff. So yeah, no guest today. Had one planned up, but that unfortunately fell through, so that'll be coming another time. So today you just get me. Very cool. I want to start off by saying thank you for everyone that is continuing to come out, show support for the podcast, listening every week. It's very motivating coming out and doing this when I know that there's people that are kind of making this part of their weekly routine, and you know, that's very cool to see. And I've said a couple times to this point, like, I am doing this mainly for myself, you know, as kind of a therapeutic thing, to a point where I can just come filter my thoughts out, and, you know, put it into a tangible platform, put it out into the world. I feel like kind of getting things off my chest to a broad audience, kind of, I don't know, it feels good for some weird reason, you know. It's like, you would think that when you have some shit you gotta say, and you don't really know how to express it, to like put it to words almost, it's kind of a weird thing to come out and project all of that finally to a wide group rather than like somebody close to you. But this is proven to be very nice for me. So I'm definitely excited to be back for another week. Episode 7, actually. We are creeping up on that double-digit mark, which is very cool. It has been over a month now of doing this, which is wild to think about, but to many more. So, yeah. So for me, over the last week and last couple weeks, I've been feeling pretty good. Especially over this last week, been feeling real good. You know, I had brought up in the last podcast, I think, wasn't feeling great per se, you know, kind of felt a little down from everything going on in the world. Just, you know, we're creeping up on the mark, and I actually think this is the week that the world shut down, and you know, kind of feeling that come back to me, and like, man, we've been doing this shit for a year now. We just been locked inside, living a weird life. And a thought that I have a lot is like, it's so weird that this is such a big historic event that we're living right now, and I think like when you take a step back to realize that, it's like, shit, This is something that will probably be talked about in like history classes in the coming years. And, you know, for people of my age, and, you know, like really anybody like over the age of let's say like maybe like 8 and up, like we all know what the world is normally like, right? And it's this big culture shock for us. So for these younger kids that are kind of doing this right now, I feel like they're going to be almost in like a sense of normalcy with this, which is weird. Like, this is their full norm, and they're going to get to the end of this hopefully someday and be like, well, this is kind of weird now. And that's something that's been brought up a lot, is like, when we get out of this kind of situation and go back to normal life, like, how normal is it going to be? Like, if you ask me, I think people are going to be wearing masks for years to come, and like going to concerts and going into movie theaters and stuff like that. Like, that's just going to be very uncomfortable at first, you know, for a while, probably. But, you know, at least we're all going through it together. So, yeah. But getting off the negative energy, I'm feeling positive through this week. It's been a good week for me. Been getting outside a lot. The weather has been fair in Maryland over the last week, where it's been so shitty outside, and like, because Maryland's dumb and it doesn't snow like during Christmas time. So like you get to February and it's like, yeah, have terrible weather for a month. Enjoy it. So it was bearable to be outside for a week, which is a blessing. So got some good sun ray vibes into my into my space. So I think that helps a little bit. But I started a like a new fitness plan or like regiment or other words that are similar to that. And that has been very nice. I've been doing that for a couple weeks now. And, you know, I'm a fairly fit human being, not fat, not skinny per se, just right, cut straight down the middle, you know, just I go outside, I'm active, but I don't really like work out a ton per se. So, I'm doing that now. And basically all I'm doing for that is, riding the Peloton for my cardio. And like, I know like I will be judged for the Peloton thing, and that's fine, but like just you gotta not judge it that hard, because I was like that when we first got one in this household, and I was like, man, this thing is so stupid and I hate it, and like nobody was ever on it, so it was just kind of there all the time. But started riding it in December, like late December, and I'm still riding it now, which is good. So I do about like 20-30 minutes on that. And I think the best thing about that for me is I'm someone that likes structure in what I'm doing. So if I'm, that voice crack was so bad. If I'm, let's say, just doing like any kind of workout, if I'm like doing a practice, something like that, I like having something scheduled out, planned, right? I like to get the most out of what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like it makes me upset when I'm doing something and I feel like I'm wasting precious time. It's like when I sleep, I'm like, why do I have to sleep? I could be awake right now and like going and doing stuff. You know what I mean? And that's like this thing that I've heard a couple people, and I hold this same argument of like, if I could have a superpower, it would be like, and this is like really lame. So it is probably not necessarily true, but let's, for the argument's sake, if I could have a superpower, it would be like the ability to not sleep, because then I could get so much work done, you know, and like, it just, I don't know. It's some weird thing where I get upset about it. I'm like, I'm not being productive right now. I should be being productive. So that's great. Like, you know what sucks? This is great. You know what's really bad is you go on a vacation, and you go somewhere where it's like a chill spot. I hate that shit so much. Like sitting by the pool at vacation is like the worst case scenario for me. Like okay, so let's say I die, right? And I go to hell, and hell is this place, like theoretically, right, where it's like personalized for everyone. So it's like some Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey type shit. You get in there, like my personal hell is gonna be like me strapped to like one of those uncomfortable ass chairs by the pool. Like, you know, the ones I'm talking about that have like the plastic like going around. They're like in separate lines and they just suck. That is hell for me. I hate it. And they're like, sit down and read a book. And I'm like, I would rather die. But then they're like, you're already dead, you're in hell. And then it would just be this cycle of me being like super depressed in pool hell. So yeah. And also like going to the beach. Oh, dude, don't even get me started on people that go to the beach and they're like, I'm just gonna lay here and tan. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, I'm the dude bringing all the activities. I'm like, we're gonna spike ball, we're gonna play volleyball, we're gonna go in the ocean, we're gonna like body surf and shit, we're gonna go on a walk, it's gonna be great. And they're like, I'm just gonna put this umbrella here and then I'm gonna lay under it, and that's all I'm gonna do while I'm here. And I'm like, you come to the beach to do that? Are you kidding? The beach is terrible. As a wise man once said, sand is very uncomfortable, coarse, it gets everywhere. You're a real one if you understand. Like, sand is just not it at all. So realistically, the beach is just not it. The only reason I go to the beach, I go like a couple times a year, and I go get sunburnt, go in the ocean for a little while, inevitably have salt water go up my nose, in my mouth, basically any crevice that is not allowed to be normally passaged by salt water goes into, and it sucks. And you know what else is in the ocean? Like, just basically death, like everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's just sharks and shit, and anglerfish. You ever seen anglerfish? Scary. Like, Nemo did that justice. That thing is terrifying. And the stat of, like, we know more about our solar system than we do about our ocean. Like, are you kidding? That's insane. I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, the ocean is just, it's not the one. If I was put out, okay. So, okay. No, the hell thing, still the same. But if, like, my biggest fear probably is being stuck in, like, middle of the ocean, just nothing around me. And it's just, like, the water is just, like, the deepest. But, like, if I was stuck the top of the water over the Mariana Trench, I would just perish immediately of anxiety. I hate it. The ocean sucks. And whoever likes the beach, you ever been to a mountain? Because it's better. So, yeah, take that. What was I even talking about? That was so, I don't even know, like, where that stemmed from. Oh my God, that came from the Peloton thing. Yeah, so structure. I enjoy the structure of the classes. I go in, I get my boy Alex Tucson on there. He yells at me for 30 minutes and spouts, like, very motivational jargon at me, and it's amazing. And I'm, like, always sitting at the end, like, on the handlebars, just, like, waiting to die, because so much sweat is just, like, it's a whole thing. But I've been doing that for my workouts every day. And then I just do a kind of a flip-flop of, so let's say, start out the week on Monday, I do an ab day, or a core day, and then I'll go to upper body, then I'll go back to core, and then I'll do lower body, then core, and then keep doing that cycle over and over again. So that's been nice. Been feeling really good from that because, endorphins and shit, you're supposed to feel good after you exercise, and I can say for sure that is true. Been feeling real good about it. And, like, it's the thing where when you start exercising, I think it's the second and third week I've found to be the hardest when you start a routine for something. Just like anything. It's not necessarily exercises specifically, but whenever you start a new routine, it's the second and third week that'll fuck you up. And I think more specifically the third week. So I'm going to the third week right now, so wish me luck for that. But that is when the habit will most likely break, I want to say. I don't know if that's, like, an official stat, but that's, like, what I've found from personal experience. So, yeah, gotta pump it out for this for this third week. So, I'll get on into my little workout room, and I'll be sitting there just absolutely dead because I probably went to the disc golf course that day and just, like, walked around a little too much, like I always do. And I'm just probably on, like, 5 hours of sleep. I don't drink coffee or anything. So I'm just absolutely dead out of my mind. And I walk in there and I'm like, man, I could also just not today. And just very, like, not present with where I'm at in the moment. And then I go and I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And then I go sweat for a little bit, and then I'm like, yeah, that was a great choice. And then I'm happy after. So you just got to do it at the end of the day, like, it's gonna suck. Yes, that is true. It will for sure suck, whatever exercise you do end up doing, right? But when you get to the end of it, it's like, you feel accomplished for one, and you're just gonna feel, you'll feel accomplished, you feel better about yourself, and mentally, that's, like, a time where if anything's weighing you down, it's good to just release that energy into something physical. So that helps a lot. for me. And I was like, when I was going through my like depresso phase, whatever you want to call it, these like the couple months ago, which I like mentioned in the second episode, that was something that really pulled me out of it, was like starting to get back to exercising every day, because that was something that I was doing during the summer, like maybe not having a scheduled workout regimen per se, but like going outside and doing something every day and just being physical and getting inside and just being dead tired when you go to sleep, like, helps a lot. So that's something that helped me a lot through that phase, and it's helping me now when I'm going through I'm not really going through per se, but like the current time of right now is hitting a little bit harder over this last week. So it has pushed me out of that like little sad boy hole that I was in last week, which has been good. And then what else did I do this week? School is great. I got spring break in a week, so that's gonna be fun, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do for spring break? I don't even. You know what's funny is, I remember when Corona first hit, I might have mentioned this story briefly before, but we got an email from Towson. They're like, yeah, you got to get out in a day, man. Like, that's all you get. You just got to get out of there. And we received that news. And I was in the room with Dan and David. We all pulled up that email, and I was just screaming, I'm spring break, like running through the halls and shit, just like hyped out of my mind. Because I'm like, we're going to get a couple weeks off, then we'll be back. And now we're here and still vibing, which is cool. So spring break will just be more of the same, but without homework. So awesome, I guess. So yeah, been doing school, and that's all fine. With the new major, it's pretty chill in comparison to music education, which is good because it gives me more opportunity to do other things, such as disc golf, which I've been participating a lot in over the last week. And I'm feeling real good about my game right now. I got a couple, I have like 4 events, like one a week for the next 4 weeks, which is kind of cool. I have not really a tournament. I guess that's like why I call it event. So we have the opener for the local league out here this Saturday that I'll be going to. This is the first year that I'm going to be a member for that, so that's going to be cool. Just going to play a little round out there to get the year started off, so looking forward to that. Went out today and played a practice round at the hole layouts that we're doing for that, so did that with a couple of buddies. And those tees out, it's going to be at Woodsboro Regional Park, and it's like the middle tees, and those things just suck because the short tees and the long tees are all like pretty well put together, and the lines are all like really obvious on what they might like expect you to do. And you get to the blue tees, and it's just obvious that like less thought was put into them. They're like, yeah, these are just like smack dab in the middle, and I guess we'll put them a little off this way or a little off this way, and it's like just not really it. But it'll be fine, and go out and do the thing regardless. But hoping to do pretty well in that, so that it kind of boosts me into the next week, which this is a really cool story. So I went out on Saturday of this week and traveled to Hanover, PA, where these 2 courses I will be playing for a tournament in April are. So it's at Codorus, I think it's Codorus or Codurus, or I don't know the exact thing, but it's at that state park up there at one of the courses, and then at Hickory Heights Golf Course or Golf Club, both of those courses. And like I said, I'll be playing a tournament up there, so I went to do a couple of practice rounds out there, and ended up shooting really well. My practice rounds just did a little first shot practice round, so I'll throw multiple shots on every tee pad. I'll throw from multiple spots from the fairways, put a couple putts up from different angles just to, figure out if I land here, this is what I'm going to do, or try to put myself in like a bad spot so I like know, hey, maybe I can throw like a roller out of here. I can throw something high out of here. Like there's a gap in these woods, where like I really want to stay out of this side of the fairway because if I'm over here, I got a bad line to the basket, all that kind of stuff. So, but with the first round or the first shot practice round, you basically just take whatever your first shot off the tee is and you play the hole based on that one. So you can do all your extra stuff, but you're still keeping score based on your first shot. And so at Cadorus, I'm just going to call it that, and if it's wrong, I don't really care. That place, I shot a 10 down, and then at Hickory Heights, I shot a 16 down, which is my best round I've ever shot, and that's by a large margin. And I say that I've shot a 15 down before at Woodsboro on the shorts, but with that, it's like the shorts are not very bad. Like technical, yeah, there's lots of trees. It can fuck you up pretty quick, but at this golf club, you're on a like ball golf course, so like a lot of times when you see disc golf courses on top of ball golf courses, they're like mainly really long and pretty open, so it's good for people that can throw far, and I can throw pretty far, so it definitely matched my skill set, because I think that's probably the thing that's like maybe the best part of my game right now is that I can throw far. I got some other stuff I still gotta work on and constantly work on, obviously, but that is suited to my play style the best at this moment. And there's par fours, par fives, some pretty long holes out there, and some of the par fours are maybe a little short, kind of easy to birdie. Definitely lots of eagle opportunities out there. I ended up shooting like 15 birdies and one eagle, I think it was, for the 16 down, but felt super good about it, and definitely builds confidence going into a tournament out there. So I got done with my rounds and posted a little bit on my Instagram at AdamSeymour_TV. If you do not follow that already, you should go over there. So posted a couple videos of me playing out there, and then when I got done, I threw up both of the scorecards from my rounds for that day onto my Instagram story, and I tagged the UDisc app Instagram on the story, and ended up actually getting reposted onto their Instagram story, and that was really cool. So that's the second time I've been reposted like for a disc golf thing. The other time was getting reposted by Paul Macbeth, which is like the fucking goat, and that was very cool as well, obviously. Just like getting, I don't know, it's not like he chose me because I'm special or anything. It's just like, hey, you're throwing some of my plastic, so here, pop you up on my story. But it's besides the point. UDisc put me up there. They were like, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like a good job or some kind of just like little thing about it on their story. So I got a message on Instagram that night from this dude, and he's like, hey man, are you playing in the doubles tournament at Hickory Heights in a couple weeks? And I'm like, no, I'm not signed up for that. I didn't know that like one of those was going on. Sent a message back saying that, and he was like, well, my partner actually dropped out, and I'm looking for a partner to fill his place so I can go play. Do you want to do it? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess so. So playing a doubles tournament, not this upcoming week, but the next one. So over that spring break, I'm playing a doubles tournament up there. It's not PDGA sanctioned or anything, but I figured going and playing any kind of tournament, like any kind of high pressure thing, if I'm going to be playing a PDGA sanctioned tournament up there, could just help my confidence even more going into that, because I want to play really well at the PDGA sanctioned one, so I can get my rating up. But it's cool because I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for sure, but what I can deduce from it, being a little investigator, I believe that he saw me on the UDisc story, because he follows them. Follows a bunch of different disc golfers, as you do. But he follows them. So he probably saw the story, was like, oh, this dude played Hickory Heights. Oh, he shot a good round over at Hickory Heights. Let me hit this dude up. And it's just one of those things of like, I know it's not huge or anything, but it is proving to me anyway. And let me have my moment, okay? Whether it's like, don't like hype yourself up or anything, but it's like the hard work that I'm putting in to the sport right now is showing just any kind of payoff in any way, right? Like I'm getting my name out there and I'm shooting better rounds, and that has led to an opportunity to play in a tournament with some dude, right? Not a huge deal or anything, but it is proving to me that this kind of thing that I'm doing here could possibly lead to something if I keep it up, right? And it's such a wild thing to me, because I just kind of threw that up there as like, hey, maybe they'll see it, just like drop a like on it, whatever, move on. So that's really cool. And now I'm doing a tournament. So I've got the one coming up this week, and then that doubles tournament. Then the week after, I'm playing another tournament in South PA, and that's going to be a C-tier event, C-tier BDGA sanctioned event. So wanting to shoot good at that one as well. That's going to be at Whispering Falls, which is a very tough course, like extremely wooded, very technical, but it filled up in like 2 minutes signing up for it. So if you do not know, when you sign up for a disc golf tournament, they kind of, it's kind of like a drop for like shoes per se, right? So they'll have a scheduled time of like, hey, we're going to open up the registration at this time. Okay. And then whoever wants to get into said tournament is going to be sitting there on the website. Like, so this won't open up at 8 p.m. So you're sitting there at like 7:58, like refreshing the page, like waiting to get in. And so I got in right at 8 and went and put in all my info, signed up for the thing. It was like maybe 8:02, because I figured like, didn't put it in like super quick or anything. I wasn't like pressed to get it in, but just went through, did the thing. And like legit 2 minutes, whole thing like filled out, and it was like 72 spots just filled up like that. And there's like 28 people on the wait list, and I was going to go play with a friend, but he didn't get in because he looked later. It was this whole thing. So, excuse me. But that's proving, hey, the sport is growing in some kind of way, and so that's exciting. And a lot of people like that course, so should be a fun event. And then the other one is one I previously mentioned, where I'm playing that Hickory Heights course, and the Cadora State Park. And that's going to be a 1 day, 2 round, and it's going to be a B tier. And I've not yet played a B tier, I believe. Yeah. So it's going to be a little bigger. It was a little more expensive. Get a better players pack, which is cool, I guess. But these next next couple tournaments that I'm going to, it's weird because like the ones I did last year, just going to, not having any expectation in, and these ones I'm going in the mindset of winning the tournament. I want to go in there and put in my best effort and try to win. So it's a little bit different in that way. It's just a different approach, and you're gonna play. I don't know if less safe, because I'm not gonna do anything stupid per se, but I'm gonna try my absolute hardest, put pedal to the metal, and just try to shoot as best as I can, and that's just to improve my PGA rating and to get my name further out there. So I will keep you updated as I continue and play in these tournaments, and I'll probably just do little recaps of hey, this is the event, this is what went down, and here you go. So that'll be cool. So got that coming up over the next month. Should be fun. But kind of piggybacking off of that, English, I am starting my YouTube channel this week, which is super exciting. I am going to go out early this week, either Monday or Tuesday, something like that, and record a round over at Woodsboro Regional Park and do a little short round. That is my home course. It's where I learned how to play disc golf, so I figured it is appropriate for me to do my first YouTube video at said course. Kind of ceremonial for me, at least. So I'm just going to do a casual round out there, record it, splice it together, put it out, see what y'all think. If you would like to, go and check it out. It's just going to be my name, Adam Seymour. It's going to be in my Instagram bio, and I will probably post something on the Tunnel Vision Instagram at Tunnel Vision Podcast about it coming out, and I would expect that on Saturday at noon. So go check that out when it comes out. Should be fun. Have a lot of good stuff planned for that channel. Probably going to do multiple rounds, solo, some with more people, challenges. Probably going to post some kind of in the bag for the year, since I'm going to tournaments this year. And yeah, might try to get some footage of tournaments and stuff if I can, and throw that up on there. I was thinking about doing live streams on there of just casual rounds, if that's something that I find people are interested in. So lots of different stuff going down over at that channel. So I will throw something up on the Instagram. So if you'd like to go view it, check that out, and I would really appreciate that. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with me for this past week. But something that went on today, and I threw up on my Instagram, what do you want me to talk about today? And I got a couple people saying, hey man, All-Star game is tonight. Pretty much All-Star weekend happened today. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? So I will do that. So All-Star game was good. It is what it is every year. It's just all of them going out there and not playing any defense and just doing some showy stuff for the crowd, which is great. I didn't watch the All-Star game last year, so I'm not sure if they did this, but they donated, it was $150,000 every quarter to whoever led the quarter. So it was kind of quarter to quarter basis, but they kept totals as well. So whoever won the quarter, that team was playing for a specific charity, and the winner got $150,000 to donate to their charity. And Team LeBron, man, they just did exactly what everybody thought they were going to do, and they just crushed it out there. So, just looking at their starting lineup alone, it is ridiculous. LeBron, Giannis, Curry, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, absolutely insane. They were Team Durant never had a chance, and that's just part of it. And their starting lineup over at Team Durant was Kyrie, Kawhi, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, and Zion, I think. Yeah, because there were some injuries that happened out there. So, or no, maybe. No, it was Jason. Yeah. So Jason Tatum did start, which is ridiculous that James Harden didn't start. But, maybe that's just me. I think that he's better. Whoa, controversial opinion, I guess. I don't know. And another ridiculous thing is, how did Damian Lillard not get a starting spot? Because he's cracked as fuck. Like, and he proved that in the game today. Just him and Curry were draining threes all over Team Durant's head. And it was just no mercy. Dropping stuff from the fucking half-court line. And so, fourth quarter, if you did not watch, they basically get rid of the quarter-to-quarter winning thing. And they go to whoever scores 170 points first, game is over. So they don't do any kind of clock or anything. It's just whoever gets there first. And Team LeBron was already way up, and we all knew that they were going to win anyway. So we get down, it gets to 167 for Team LeBron, and in my head, as a Thunder fan who had to go through the deep torment of Dame time in the playoffs once before, unfortunately, I just knew already what was going to happen, and Curry had chucked one up and missed it from half court, and they went down the court. Team Durant missed, threw it over to Lillard. He came up just in front of the half court line. Nobody really pressed him and just drained it, and it was Dame time once again on All-Star Weekend. So Team LeBron coming away with the win and then getting the extra $300,000. So they came away with a big purse for their charity. So congrats to them. They balled out, but their team was absolutely stacked. They blew them out exactly like we all thought they would. So, but it was enjoyable for sure. And I haven't watched a lot of NBA this year just because the Thunder have not had a single game on TV up to this point, which I'll be able to watch. They have one coming up, I think this month, middle of this month, that will be on NBA TV, so I'll be able to watch that. And then they play the Wizards twice this month, so I'll be able to watch those as well since that's local. But they had one scheduled against the Sixers earlier in the year, and that was the only one that was scheduled up to that point on NBA TV. But then the entire Sixers lineup just died. They all had COVID. They were like, yeah, so this game isn't happening. And I was like, this is my one chance to watch my team, and they just stripped it away from me. And I was so sad and upset about it. I was hyping it up for a week. I'm I'm finally gonna be able to watch the Thunder play, because I just don't even really know the team as well as I usually do. We're usually pretty decent. Obviously, we're going through rebuild right now, but I'm just I don't know who some of these players are. It's kind of bad, but I digress. But it was fun watching the game, seeing a bunch of friendly faces, and when they're out there doing their thing on All-Star Weekend, they're just having fun and making jokes and all that stuff, and that's at the end of the day what it's all about, sports-wise, basketball, whatever. Just going out and having fun with your buddies, making jokes, shit like that, and it can get really serious, and they will fight each other and shit like that. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's basketball. You're all multimillionaires. Get over it. You're getting paid millions every year to throw this little rubber ball into a basket 10 feet in the air. What can you complain about? So I digress, though. It's whatever. Yeah, so that was cool. I'll tell you what wasn't cool. The dunk contest. That shit was lame as fuck, and I hated it. So, I believe, yes, so Anthony Simmons ended up taking the win for that, which, good job, I guess. The field is just not really I mean, they're all good dunkers, yes. And Cassius Stanley got shafted, which I will say his first dunk was really good. And I don't know how he got so many 9s and 8s from that, but yeah, it was just very lackluster. And I miss the days of having the dunk contest being like this big event, and you got some more like, not necessarily superstar, but like more known names in it. And it's been around so long, and so many dunks have been done up to this point. It's like, how much can you really do? And you'll see a lot of dudes like Anthony Simmons did today, like doing retro dunks from like old dunk contests, and it's like, yeah, I guess we're just kind of at that point for that. So that was whatever. Just it stuck out to me as being just like severely disappointing. So whatever. 3-point contest, that was better. Steph Curry came away with the win for that, and I think nobody was surprised. If I'm correct, and don't hate me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe it's his first 3-point contest he's ever been in, which, if that's true, that is ridiculous in like every way. But he went in there and just stomped it. He shot 31 points on the first round, which is a new record for the 3-point contest, which is insane. And then beat out Mike Conley in the finals to take the win for that. So that was good. And then Domantas Sabonis beating Vucevic for the skills contest. And the skills contest is just like, I don't know, because at a point it's like almost more entertaining than dunk contest right now, just because, again, like so much of the dunk contest has like already been done. So it's not fresh necessarily because they do like the same thing every time, but it's like almost more exciting to a point. It's like at least they're actually like doing shit the whole time. Like I find myself like watching the dunk contest and they're like missing dunks and stuff, and I'm getting secondhand embarrassment just like burying my face into a pillow. Like I cannot be asked to watch all of this happen right now. But you know, that's fine. It's whatever. It's a dumb all-star event. We cannot get too fussed up about that. So good event overall. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed watching it. But yeah, it's looking like a pretty weird NBA season, though, I will tell you. I mean, who put the Suns at the top of the West? That is, well, not very top, but almost at the top of the West. Shit's ridiculous. So, whatever. And Devin Booker not being put in the All-Star event until, like, I believe he was a sub, and then he had to get a sub. It's just the whole thing, but whatever. NBA can go fuck itself, to be honestly, that's amazing. That's what I get for saying that, because the NBA is great, but whatever. The Thunder are doing bad, so I have to objectively hate them at this moment, so whatever. I'm over it. Obviously not pissed off about it or anything, but I got a request. I don't know, request is a good word, but I again put out something saying like, hey, give me ideas to do on the podcast, and David came through, our good buddy David Baylor, and he said, hey man, why don't you make a tier list? And I'm like, you know what, that's a fantastic idea. Him and I and also Dan, we've been putting together tier lists over the past couple of days, which I don't know why, but it's just like a random thing that has happened. So I figured, hey, we just saw the All-Star event for the NBA, so why don't we make a tier list for NBA teams? And I do not know if I'm basing this off of right now or in total. It'll probably be a mix. And this isn't going to be like an objective list where I'm like, well, this team has the most wins, or like if there's like he has this stat line or this stat line. Like it'll be a mix of that and also just like my opinion. So if you have a problem with it, like I just honestly do not give a fuck. So go away. But here's my list. We're going to make it together. So first up, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. And this is a hard one for me because the Sixers, Allen Iverson, obviously, just a legend of the NBA. So they have that going for them. But I have a problem with them for just like I don't enjoy watching them that much, which they're playing pretty well right now. But I'm not really a big fan of Ben Simmons. Also not a big fan of Joel Embiid because he's a bit of a bitch. So it's a hard one for me. I, though, am going to have to put them in C tier, I'm going to say, because I just cannot stand watching them sometimes. And while Westbrook was still at the Thunder in those glory days, we kind of had somewhat of a rivalry with them. Well, more specifically, Westbrook and Embiid, like, hating each other because they both are, like, somewhat shitty humans. So, yeah, they'll go ahead and take a seat over in C tier. Next up, we have the Washington Wizards. And as someone who lives close by to the Washington Wizards, I'm going to do the world a favor and throw them into D tier because that is where they belong, and I do not want to hear anything else about it. They suck. They've sucked for years. They are just heartbreak city for everybody that likes them. I am honestly saddened by people that are fans of the Wizards because I know that they have to go through that every year. I apologize to all of you that have to suffer. I'm here if you need somebody to cry about it too, although I will probably make fun of you for continuing to follow them. You know, when I first was looking into getting into the NBA, I was like, well, don't really know who to follow. And I obviously shopped around a little bit. I'm a Colts fan, so I was like Pacers, but I was like, I don't know. I don't necessarily love the idea of following the Pacers. Because I'm more of an Indiana basketball fan, like a IU fan, and I was like, I don't know, I want to follow the Pacers. And I looked at the Wizards, and I'm like, I definitely don't want to follow the Wizards. So landed on OKC. Basically, fuck the Wizards. Okay, moving on. The Atlanta Hawks, and they're a team that I really, really enjoy, actually, and I've enjoyed for quite a while, even though they're not a very good team per se. I've enjoyed watching them. Some of my favorite players in the NBA have come from the Hawks, so I'm talking about Trae Young, who's there now, and obviously he's fantastic. And then someone who's severely underrated, in my opinion, in Dennis Schroeder. I love that man, and obviously he played for the Thunder for a couple years, but I love how he plays. I loved him while he was at Atlanta. He's a short little man compared to the other behemoths that are in the NBA. So got to give it up to the Hawks for that, at least. So I'm going to put them in B tier because I know they don't deserve anything higher, even though I really enjoy watching them. So whatever. Okay. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Here's another difficult one because they were obviously in the playoff picture for a while, right? But by them being in the playoff picture, what I really mean is LeBron was in the playoff picture. And, not a lot of great stuff has come out of Cleveland. And I just don't really enjoy watching Cleveland, especially now. Obviously, you have the most iconic duo of all time in Sexland over the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. So there's that, I guess. I'm going to put them in C tier for now because of the titles that they have, but they could possibly drop lower. Unsure, though. So next up, we've got the Detroit Pistons. And I'm just going to go straight ahead and throw them into D tier. I do not like them. Do not enjoy watching them. Sometimes I forget that they're in the NBA. So, yeah, that speaks a lot to what I think about them. I can't name a single person on their roster right now. if I'm being completely honest with you. So they can just go away, in my opinion. Next up, Indiana Pacers. Okay. So like I said before, I'm a Colts fan. I like Indiana for the most part, at least Indiana sports. We'll say that. Indiana itself, maybe not the greatest state, and I will admit that firsthand. But Indiana sports, sure. So the Pacers, they are always up there in the playoffs, which they never really do anything insane in the playoffs, which is kind of, it's just a basically dead middle of the road kind of team. So we're gonna put them up with the Hawks in B tier for now. Next up, got the Milwaukee Bucks, and just straight ahead off into S tier for them. I love watching them play. Giannis Antetokounmpo is like one of the coolest people on this planet. We do not deserve him. He is so amazing. Obviously, he won the the All-Star MVP, which I believe is the Kobe Bryant Award now, which is awesome. He won that tonight. He won MVP last year, which was great. He definitely deserved that. The Greek freak himself, he is an insane man. Obviously, they've been up there for quite a while in the East and kind of rolling over there. But just solid team, and shout out my boy Nick. Just loving that team. So yeah, put them up in S tier for our first one over there. Next up, got the Toronto Raptors. And they're another one that is always in the conversation as well. Obviously, they won a recent title with Kawhi Leonard there. And it's one that could be argued to put in either or into B tier, but I'm going to put them into A just based off their recent success and, legends of the game and Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter coming from there. And that's another team that I just always enjoy watching. So they're going to go into A for me. Next up, we got the Mavericks. And they're a team I don't watch a ton. Luka Doncic, obviously people think he's the second coming of Christ for some reason. For some reason. It's a pretty good reason why. He's very good. And you obviously have Porzingis there, which is a somewhat new duo. And I don't love Porzingis, to be honest, but, I digress. But they're all right. I see them pop up every once in a while on my feed, and I'm like, yeah, they're a pretty decent team, I guess. But can't really give them insane props. They're either a B tier or an A tier. Like either a low A or a B. I'll throw them in A tier. Bottom of A tier probably. And then just keep them in there for a little while. Nuzzled up. Okay, next up, got the Denver Nuggets. And they're in the Thunder's division. So have some kind of prejudice against them there. And I don't know, the Nuggets are weird. It's another team that I don't super enjoy watching. You have Jokic there, and obviously he's great. He's a really good passer, and I think that's the best thing that he provides entertainment-wise for the Nuggets. They're always up there as well in the playoff picture, and they've been doing their thing for the last couple of years. So I'm going to put them above the Raptors in A tier for right now. Next up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. This is another team that I super enjoy watching, even though, like the Hawks, are not really good, but they're a young team, got a lot of promise, and Ja Morant, who is a hero, and you have guys like Brandon Clark over there, just like really young talent, and they look like they're going to be pretty good. Obviously, they have like some of the most fire jerseys in the NBA, so there's that as well. But I'm going to put them, I'm going to say above the Hawks in B tier, because Ja Morant is a amazing player to watch. He's very electric. I like him a lot. Minnesota Timberwolves, we don't even have to talk about that. They are in D tier at the bottom. They suck and nobody likes them. Moving on, San Antonio Spurs. Okay, so this is an interesting one because, they have been good for a very long time. Obviously not insane lately. They're fine, but not necessarily the most exciting team to watch. But have to put a little bit of respect on their name. So I'm going to put them, let's say, at the top of B tier. And I think that's pretty fair. Give them the respect they deserve, but also they're pretty whatever at the same time. I don't know. They're just very average. So just right at B tier for them. Utah Jazz. This is a personal hate one for me, so I'm just going to throw them into D tier at the bottom. And that is fully just based on my personal bias against them and how they always beat the Thunder in the playoffs. So, yeah. So, I will say, though, Donovan Mitchell, probably my favorite player in the NBA right now. Not going to lie. He's been crushing it on my team on 2K, so got to give him that, I guess. But, yeah, I can't put them any higher. It's just a rivalry thing at the end of the day. So, sucks for them, I guess. Clippers piss me off, and therefore I'm putting them into C tier. I'll put them at the top of C tier because they are good, and I acknowledge that. But also, it was disappointing watching them last year because they had a lot of talent. They were a very scrappy team, and they had Paul George and Kawhi. And I feel like I never hear about them somehow, and it's very strange because they have such a good team, yet they're just never really talked about. And before now, they were always just kind of a team that you just kind of passed through. Chris Paul came from there, and he's one of my favorite players, or favorite point guards, I should say. But, he has moved on from them, as I think every other NBA fan should move on from the Clippers because yikes for them. Phoenix Suns, okay. Hot team right now. Very hot team. And for that reason, I'm going to put them in S tier. And I hear you for those yelling into their phone right now for how that might be stupid. And they're below the Bucks. So, one, chill out. But two, they hold a special place in my heart, and I have some friends that enjoy the Suns and have followed them for a little while, and it's nice to see them finally come out on top. And CP3 is over there, who we just previously mentioned, and obviously Devin Booker, who is the most underrated player in the NBA at this point in time. So, have to give him a little bit of props. I would feel guilty otherwise. And obviously, just the kings of the bubble. So, take that as you will. Portland Trailblazers. Here's another one that I have a little bit of beef with, obviously, with Lillard, waving us goodbye in the playoffs. It's a sad day every time I have to think about that one. I'm gonna give myself and all other Thunder fans a moment of silence for that. Just 1 second. Thank you. Okay, so with Portland, I really love that team, and Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the league at this point, and I will hear no other slander on his name because he is absolutely incredible. But, and there's a big but here, a massive but, a huge but. They have not been able to get it done in the playoffs. So I'm going to put them below the Nuggets in A tier. Below the Nuggets, above the Raptors. They're going to take a seat up in A tier, though. Next up, Sacramento Kings. So you know how I said the Jazz were at the bottom of D tier? I lied. The Kings are just so unbelievably terrible. It is so sad. And it's like the Pistons, where half the time I forget they exist, and I'll just like be loading up 2K and I'll be scrolling through teams and I'm like, oh right, the Kings. They got De'Aaron Fox, I guess. I think that's enough said on them. Next up, the New York Knicks. I'm going to put the Knicks into C tier. Okay? And I'm going to put them above the Cavs because they're getting a little hot right now, in a way. And obviously they have a deep history there of basketball excellence, I guess. And they're kind of like the Browns in a way, where they just are so bad, but you want them to succeed because it's just very funny. So I'm going to put them there, and I'm going to feel pretty okay about that one. Next up, we got the Pelicans. So Pelicans are fine. I'm going to throw them into bottom of B tier because they are just that. They are fine. They are another whatever team. They got Zion, which I think he's overrated. And get over it. I said it. You know, he's had a lot of expectations to live up to. People calling him the next LeBron and shit, and just has not really proved that yet. And the Pelicans are not really making any huge waves or anything like that. So he'll be there. Him, as New Orleans fans, Zion, and what's his face? Oh my God, I totally forgot. Which Ball brother it was. Lonzo. Well, that was like the biggest brain fart of my life. Yeah, they can all just go away. Yeah. Next up, Charlotte Hornets. I have always enjoyed the Hornets, and it's another one like the Hawks and the Grizzlies where I enjoy watching them personally. I think LaMelo Ball is great. I think he's going to do great things in the NBA. I think he's entertaining to watch. He's kind of gives me Chris Paul vibes in a way. He can definitely improve as a scorer, which is weird because that was kind of his whole thing for a while. But he's proven he can get it done with assists and steals as well. But he's got to develop more of a scoring talent for them to bust out. But they're a really fun team to watch. And Graham over there, he's been over at ESPN, like in some highlights recently. And I think they're a cool up-and-coming team. And for that reason, I'm going to put them at the top of B tier over the Spurs and get mad. Next up, Houston Rockets. And this is another one where I just deeply do not respect the Rockets. But I'm going to do it my civic duty and put them at the top of C tier because I'll get over it, but just by a little bit. Here's my problem with the Rockets. One, they don't know how to play defense. Never have, never will. And well, they were kind of so they took Westbrook away from us, which is another thing. You know, there's a no-no. And I don't know, it's just they felt just kind of weird in the West for a while, up into the conversation, because they were always there, just could never get it done, could never put together a good enough string of games to get themselves moving up in the playoffs. And, it's unfortunate because they've had some really good teams put together out there, but they made a pretty stupid trade, I would say, in getting John Wall, and it's just kind of proving that, hey, they don't really know what they're doing right now, and they're kind of scrambling. So I'll put them there, and we'll all be fine with that. Next up, Miami Heat, and here is one that I really enjoy, and they have a bit of a history of playing well. Obviously, they had a couple chips when LeBron and D-Wade were there. D-Wade, obviously a legend, at the Miami Heat. And they've got a super fun team right now, and Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero, and some more guys that are over there that are just really crushing right now. And I was rooting for them heavy in the playoffs last year. Me and Dan were really rooting them on. They just couldn't do it. And they've got jerseys this year that look like Trix yogurt, so that's always fun. And yeah, I just enjoy watching them a lot. I'm going to put them at the top of A tier. Yeah, very cool. Next up, Chicago Bulls. I think even though they kind of suck, I think we all have to put them at the top of S tier. And that's just kind of where they belong, You can hate the Bulls as much as you want. You can say that they're bad now as much as you want. But the best basketball player of all time played there. They have crushed in the past, and nobody can ever take that away from them. So therefore, they are going there for right now. Next up, we got the Nets, and the Nets are going. I'm gonna put them below the Bucks, but in S tier, because they just picked up Blake Griffin, and they are probably gonna win a championship. So there's that. And they're another team that I think is kind of fun to. They were fun to root for before they got Kyrie and Durant and DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin and like all those other people. They were kind of one of those teams, such as like the Hornets and the Grizzlies and the Hawks for me anyway, that I enjoy just like, hey, hope they do good for no apparent reason, but just not a very hateable team. Obviously now they've got some hateable players there, which is whatever, but they're probably going to win a championship again. So they're going up in S tier just for personal relevance at this moment. I think it is unfair for me to rate the Thunder. They're the next on our list. So I'm going to take an objective look at it. Okay. And as best as possible, I'm just going to put them in the middle of B tier. Just so that I'm not biased, but I'm not putting them lower than that. But they're not great right now, but they're one of the most electric teams in the NBA to watch, and they're always in the conversation, even with all their young guys, and they're still fun to watch now. And not like I have, because they haven't been on TV, but in highlights, it's fun to watch, so fight me. And Westbrook is one of the best point guards to ever play. Anyway, Warriors. This is another hard one. Obviously, they've had an incredible super team there, and then a couple years later, they have just like a cast of nobodies over there. So it's another weird one. I think I need to put them into S tier though. Or, oh my God, can I? Can I even do that? No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can force myself to do that because they're just so not good right now. Even though they have Steph Curry, and I'm torn on this one. Okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll put them in S tier. I'll put them right behind the Nets, and I think that's totally fine. And we need to give them respect they deserve. They've had some great players come out of there, but obviously we all hate them at the same time. So that's all I'm gonna say about that one. Okay. Next one, we got the Celtics. The Celtics are always good, always have been, always will be. I enjoy watching them. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are some amazing players, and they played at the All-Star game today. And they're just a fun team to watch, and always a tough one to go against. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them below the Bulls on the tier list, but they're going in S tier. And then we got two more. So coming up on the Orlando Magic. And, they're not great, realistically. But with that said, they've been playing a little bit better recently. I don't know if I can't put them any higher than C tier, but I don't know if I can put them into C tier, to be honest, because it's not a pretty sight over there. I'm going to put them at the top of D tier. I feel okay with that decision for the most part. So, yeah, that's fine. That is totally fine. And last up, obviously, Los Angeles Lakers, top of S tier. They're the greatest basketball team probably of all time. Got insane championships. Don't even need to mention the players that have been there, that are there. Obviously, I will say, though, Kobe Bryant, one of the most legendary basketball players of all time. You cannot tell me that whenever you threw a piece of paper into the trash, you did not say Kobe, because you did, and you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't, if you said that you didn't. So there's that. But yeah, they got to go up there. They just have to, and they just edged out the Bulls for me. So yeah, that's my entire tier list. I'll probably have something going on up here, showing that off for all of you people that are watching on YouTube, but that is my whole tier list. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that one, not gonna lie. I think that's decent. That is the best that I could do. But let me know what I did wrong, what is just absolutely terrible and you hated about that tier list, and I will argue with you in whatever comment that you post. So that's super enjoyable. But that being said, that is all that I had planned for today. And I think that is a good way to wrap up the podcast out here. I hope that you all enjoyed your time here, enjoyed listening, as always. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts, give me a rating. I would really appreciate you doing that. It helps me out so much, more than you know. Go follow me on both my Instagrams that I mentioned earlier. And yeah, I just really appreciate all you guys coming out and continuing to support the show. Got to keep the lights on somehow, and it is all because of you guys. So with that being said, thank you again, and peace.